Welcome back to your Sunday morning edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Chris Mav here. We got a very active radar right now. We do have this cold front, this strong cold front moving through the Florida Panhandle. We have several severe thunderstorms warnings issued for much of our viewing area, and we've already seen quite a few tornado warnings issued for our area, and we're likely going to see more pop up throughout the morning as we have these little quick spin-ups that we're gonna continue to see with this line of storms as it continues to head towards the east. Now, let's see in just a few moments, we can kind of take a closer look at some of these individual warnings. But as you can see, this line of strong storms is basically right aligned with Tallahassee right now, and this is gonna be moving through the area within just the next couple minutes. Notice the timing, it's 11:44 right now, so by 12 o'clock, we'll be kind of really in the thick of the storm. We're already seeing some of the winds outside really start to pick up. It is quite gusty out there, so if you're still walking around in Tallahassee, or maybe if you're on campus, now is the time to find that safe place, find a secure building, ideally away from windows. Now we're going to take a look at our live velocity. We do have one area of rotation I am kind of keeping an eye on. See, I think there could be some sort of possibly a little bit of a quick spin up there. So something we'll be keeping an eye on here soon. This is over near Midway. Now, we don't have a warning at the moment, but definitely something I will be keeping an eye on in the next couple of minutes. You can see here's this line once again. This includes pretty much all of Leon County in this warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. You can see right along here on the western side of Leon, parts of Gadsden counties where right now those heaviest bands of rain. Now, the main concerns with this storm are those very gusty winds. Now, in order for us to actually get a severe thunderstorm warning, we need winds of about 58 miles an hour, and that has been indicated with the storm. We're seeing that front really quickly just race towards Tallahassee. We're going to be getting in on some of those heavier bands of wind very soon. Now, we're taking a live look over at Doak and see those very overcast skies. We did have some lightning earlier in the area, so again, lightning is incredibly dangerous, so I can't urge you enough to please just hunker down inside, at least for the next, say, roughly hour. After this front pushes through, or at least this heavier band of rain makes its way through the area, then the rain will become lighter and, not as severe. But as this continues to push through, this is really going to pack a punch. And actually, as you can see on here, we do have a new tornado warning that is just to the southeast of Albany, Georgia. You can see this is including Baconton, Putney, East Doherty, Bridgeboro. You are in the path of this warning, so I urge you to please find your tornado safe place. You want to go into the most interior room of your home, away from doors and windows. This has been issued within the past couple of minutes here, and this is going to continue to move to the northeast. So if you're near Baconton, we're seeing this really heavy pocket of rain. Here we go. We're going to continue to take a look at this system as it moves to the northeast. And you can see that really heavy pocket of rain. Now we're taking a look at velocity. The red is showing winds blowing away from the radar, and the green is coming towards the radar. So you can kind of see right here in this area we've kind of drawn right here. This is where that area of tight circulation is, and that's where we could see possibly a brief spin up. Now, my advice, take this as if this tornado is already on the ground. I believe this is just a radar indicated warning right now. We have not had confirmation yet. I'll be updated in the studio for my fellow student meteorologists here. But right now, treat this as if it was on the ground. So if you're near East Doherty, this is headed your way. You still have a couple of minutes. Oh, okay. So I've been told now that this warning has actually just been canceled. So that's some good news here. I guess this rotation has weakened, which has definitely some good news for us here. Correlation coefficient not really showing a debris ball, which is good. That's what we want to see. Now, like I was just informed, this warning is likely either going to expire soon or already has expired. But now this front has really started moving its way east. It's really just about to impact Tallahassee within the next coming minutes. So again, big concerns with this are going to be those very strong gusty winds near about 60 miles an hour. We could also see some hail with this, probably around pea size. I'm going to have to double check, but again, that is something we can expect with this front as it moves through. And actually, I'm already starting to hear some of that rain pelting our studio windows. So again, that front's really just starting to make its way here into Tallahassee. And again, taking another look over at Doak, you can see those overcast skies on our live camera, even some rain showing up a little bit on the camera over there. So just very gloomy skies as this front makes its way to the east. And again, this warning is going to last, I would say, give it a good, at least about an hour. Just hunker down. If you're on the roads, maybe you can pull off somewhere and just kind of ride the storm out as it continues to just kind of pass over us. And so basically, these are all the areas impacted. Thomasville, you're in the path of this storm. This is going to probably impact you folks in the next, I'll say, 15, 20 minutes. So you still have a little bit of time to get into an interior location. Again, this line of storms has been producing these quick little spin ups, and we have already seen several tornado warnings issued. Again, the only one we had was this one just to the southeast of Albany, Georgia, at least for right now. But this line has been strengthening over the past couple of hours here. So we're going to continue to keep a close eye on this. Again, we have another warning to the south, or severe thunderstorm warning, that's kind of moving through Carabel. Port St. Joe, you're kind of in the clear right now, still getting some of that rain, but now you are not in the severe part of that storm. Panama City, still seeing a little bit of rain, but also you're in the clear. Blountstown, again, most of that heavy rain, the worst part of that storm has now moved past. Gretna, Bainbridge, kind of on the backside of this front, so seeing the less strong side of it. But if you are in Galveston, kind of seeing that right past you. But if you are in between, anywhere from between Tallahassee and Quincy, get ready for some pretty heavy rain. We could use it because of the drought, but again, strong winds, possibly some small hail with this. That's what we're going to be keeping an eye out for in the coming moments. But taking a look over at northeast Tallahassee, those very gloomy skies just really lingering over the area. I've been seeing, we actually have our window open in the studio. I have been seeing some lightning pop here and there. Here's a look over at downtown. Pretty similar views all around the area. Seeing lots of those overcast skies as this front continues to push towards downtown Tallahassee. Panama City, though, bit of a different scene. Finally starting to see some peaks of sunshine as you're kind of on the backside of this. So you already got the biggest pack of punch with this front as moves through. We're going to pop back over here on radar. Tallahassee, just get ready for the heaviest portion of rain as it continues to head our way in the next coming minutes. So if you're just tuning in now, if you're anywhere in these yellow boxes right here, especially if you're in Thomasville, Tallahassee, get ready to just head inside, hunker down for the next couple of minutes. Thankfully for us here in these boxes, no warnings in effect, no tornado warnings in effect at the moment, which is good. However, with the nature of this system, still going to be, it's still possible that we could see a quick spin up. And when we do see that, obviously we will let you know. Like I said earlier, this warning near Albany, Georgia has been allowed to expire, or will be expiring soon. It does seem that that system over there is beginning to weaken, so that's good news for those people up there. But as far as our active warnings, really a big swath of I-10, even to the north and south, just getting ready to just be punched by all this heavy rain. But now we're going to kind of switch things over to Danielle, who's going to kind of tell us a little bit more about this system as it moves closer to Tallahassee.
Yeah, guys, so across the Big Bend in South Georgia, again, we have 3 large severe thunderstorm warnings starting to enter in the capital city area. Of course, we have most of the system right here. This is going to be your stronger areas. If we can take a look down towards Sopchoppy, if we can get a zoom in on that system, we got a little bit of a cell here that's starting to push to the northeast, and that is going to bring some strong winds as well, up to 60 miles per hour, and chances of some hail as well. Tornado is not ruled out, especially if we push push ourselves farther to the north towards Tallahassee. If we take a look at that cell starting to enter in Leon County, we have a tornado possible tag linked to this storm, meaning that this cell has the capability of producing a tornado. And you can see this right here entering Leon County. We got lots of heavy rain and potential of some hail embedded into this line heading into the west side of town. It's actually right outside our window at FSU right now, approaching from West Tennessee Street, going all the way across town. So we can expect, again, some strong winds here, the potential of some hail, frequent lightning as well. If you hear the thunder in the background in the studio, it is because it is approaching close to campus. Especially FSU students, make sure to stay in your dorms, stay in your apartments for right now. It's not necessarily the safest to go out if you're running errands. Try to maybe stay inside those grocery stores until this passes, because it will be pretty gusty and windy. And across our area cameras, we do have mostly overcast skies as that rain is starting to kick in, especially in Ocklawakanee. St. George Island's seen some of that action too. Panama City just on the back end, if you see a clearing of that cold front starting to move out of the area, and those temperatures staying mostly consistent in those low to mid 60s. And as we take a look into the rest of your day, we see again this line of storms pushing through. But in the next few hours, we can expect a clearing, maybe a shower or two on the back end of this storm, but expect some passing clouds throughout the rest of your evening and into tomorrow as well. So we can expect this to be a short-lived, fast-moving system, but for now, it's going to be a severe day that we need to take a look at for the next few hours. So bear with us here for the next hour or so as we get through this in Tallahassee. Those on the eastern parts of the Big Bend in South Georgia, we need to wait a little bit more as the afternoon progresses to see if this line decides to weaken or stay put together for the most part. If we want to take a look again, that tornado warning up towards Daughtry County has expired. Our system just hasn't updated it yet. We see the rotation is starting to broaden. What's that, Ryan?
Danielle, I am hearing, it looks like there were some power outages.
Okay.
Bacontown,
Baconton, here we have some power outages, so is Putney, so we can definitely see it. Even if a tornado possibly did not touch the ground, we still had some pretty strong winds come through the area. Here,
we're back to when the rotation is tight, so
we're going to see the velocity here to see when we went back on radar where we could possibly see some rotation.
A little bit of rotation in there. So
we had some broad rotation going in there towards Baconton, heading to the northeast, just south of Albany. We can see it heading towards Sylvester. Sylvester, even though a tornado warning is not in your area, you can expect some strong winds and some severe weather heading into your area within the next few minutes. So very shortly, make sure to stay in your safe space away from windows. If you are at home right now, if you are outdoors, definitely get inside into a sturdy building, because it's going to be a little intense as people in Sylvester will see that severe weather start to enter in the area. Can we take a look at this cell towards Havana and Leon County? I know we saw some rotation.
just said they were watching it as well.
Yeah.
Near Lake
Lake Imonia, where Tall Timbers is, just west of 319. We did have some rotation that we saw from Midway heading its way in. It seems like it may have broken apart. We see, again, just overall some strong winds in this area over here. So if you're on the north side of Tallahassee, even in Havana, you can expect some strong, possibly straight line winds heading into the area. So those in Bradfordville up towards Childs High School, Lake Imonia, Golden Eagle, those areas, you need to be on the lookout. Make sure to go indoors, go away from windows, away from doors, and make sure to stay safe. So we see right here very little rotation across the area. We're hoping that it will stay that way and not decide to pull any tricks on us in the next few minutes. But so far, rotation is staying at the minimal. We saw it was a lot more prominent just a few minutes ago, maybe 15, 20 minutes ago when it was farther to the west. So some good news there, showing that it's breaking apart. We do have a little bit of debris showing, especially down here. I'm not sure what. Possibly some straight line winds. Not quite sure. Do we have any rotation confirmed in there?
I think it's more just the radar is picking up.
Okay. Yeah, because there wasn't anything over here, so that wouldn't have made sense.
Maybe some light hail. Let me see what. Okay. No, nothing really in the way of hail. So I think it's just false returns.
Yeah, no, just wanted to double check there. Yeah, so we have again this line of storms entering in Leon County, just passing over Highway 27. So those on Monroe Street, Tennessee Street, heading into downtown, you can expect this to head into your area at any moment now. If we see this squall line starting to make itself prominent across Leon County, as well as Wakulla and Liberty counties just to the south. We also have some very heavy rain entering down here into the southern parts. So Woodville also is to keep on the lookout, as well as Thomas County. Those in Thomasville too can expect this to come in within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Here's the look across downtown Tallahassee. Very gray skies. We can tell that rain is coming in and is getting heavier. So we can see that here on our area cameras. Downtown is starting to see some of that action kicking in for this afternoon. So yes, severe weather across the area, and we're anticipating this to continue for the farther east it happens to go. So here's the history of the radar. We see it has had, this line has just kept up and has stayed, hasn't shown really a lot of signs of dissipating, which means we have enough ingredients in the atmosphere to still have conducive severe weather situations going on here across most of our viewing area. So again, those three very big boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings, where we can expect winds up to 60 miles an hour. We can have some smaller hail, and as well as the possibility of a tornado. We do want to note again this tornado warning up to the north towards Albany. There he goes, just expired. Perfect timing. That's exactly what we needed to see. So we don't anticipate any rotation at the moment, but we do anticipate some strong straight line winds entering into South Georgia and Leon County, as well as Wakulla County and Liberty as well. Franklin is not out of the woods either as we go farther down towards the coast. So right now we're hoping that this is how it's going to continue to stay, and we'll transition some things over if we want to get it back on to Chris in just a second.
Yeah. So we're going to continue to take a look at this system as it really just starts to move into Tallahassee, starting to get those pretty strong rain bands and those strong wind gusts really just starting to kick up as it really just makes a beeline for Tallahassee. As you can see right here, here's a look at our velocity. Not really seeing a lot of rotation, which is what I like to see, but I do want to note that this system does have that tornado possible tag, so we're just going to continue to keep an eye out for any sort of rotation that could happen. Right now, taking a look at that velocity, we do have a report, and it just went away, but there we go, 35, 37 miles an hour, so still kicking up some pretty strong winds with this system. So again, I just want to encourage you to really stay inside for the next couple of minutes as it continues to pass over the Florida Big Bend. You can kind of see right here is where the system is, and now just taking a look at the precip, really about to start getting into those darker reds, indicating those heavier rainfall rates as it makes its way to our neck of the woods. Now, this severe thunderstorm warning stretches several counties. You can see pretty much all of Leon County is it's under this severe thunderstorm warning. Even some of our South Georgia counties getting in on this pretty strong front, and we haven't really been seeing a lot of weakening with this. So this, as the sun rose this morning, basically we've been able to kind of keep this system together. We've had all the ingredients we need, and with all that, basically this front has not really been able to weak. So it's held pretty consistent together as it's made its way towards us. Woodville going to be getting in on some of those heavier rain bands momentarily. I would say about the next 10-15 minutes, get ready for those winds to really start picking up. About to see probably some heavier rain rates, and also much more frequent lightning with the system. That's kind of one of our indicators that this front has pretty much held together, and that we had sufficient energy to really just hold this entire cold front together. Now, let's see if we can take a look. Let's see.
But damage report from the Weather Service of trees being blown down into the eastbound lanes of I-10. This is at mile marker 179, and there's also traffic, of course, behind it.
Yeah. So
tornado watch
let's see.
just got updated. So
Live reports coming in.
The west got canceled. Continues for those of us. Looks like it's going to be Leon County on east.
Gotcha. So in case you didn't hear that, mile marker 179, starting to see some reports of tree damage. So again, we're seeing these really strong winds start to make its way into Tallahassee, and that's definitely going to be causing some problems, especially if you're on the roadways. So I would definitely encourage you, if you're anywhere, if you're on I-10 right now, I would definitely recommend either pulling over or maybe see if you can get off at the next exit and just find a secure location to just hunker down as the heaviest part of this storm moves through downtown. Now, taking a look at this warning, this polygon has kind of been extended, so now Monticello is also in this warning, but you have a little bit more lead time with the storm. Now we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. The one that we had earlier to the west, kind of near Blountstown, that warning has been allowed to expire as the heaviest rain from that system has now passed. But Tallahassee is really starting to get the brunt of the system. Carabel, this is going to be headed your way. The big thing, though, we still have a tornado watch in effect. It has been updated. I think it has been, let's see. So they have added 1 hour to this. So earlier this morning, this tornado watch was until 3 o'clock, but now this warning has been extended a little bit further to the east, and now this will be expiring at 4 p.m. this Sunday. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. We've already seen several warnings triggered this morning. We had that quick little spin up near Albany, but that has now been allowed to expire. So some really good news for us. But right now, this thing, here's kind of a radar loop of what has already occurred and what's happening right now. Here's where this front is at the moment, really just making its way into downtown. I'm looking outside right now where we're starting to see it's gotten much darker, and we're already starting to get some rain and some pretty gusty winds here in the area. Thomasville, this is also making its way towards you. So if you're a little bit to the west, Valdosta, you're still in the clear right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a new severe thunderstorm warning that is extended a little bit further to the east. As this storm, like I said earlier, it's been holding pretty well, and with this front, as it continues to pass by, we've been kind of seeing just those really strong winds ahead of the front, and then as all this heavy rain just makes its way to us, just really starting to see some of those impacts. I mean, we just mentioned that we've already gotten some damage reports now near some of the highways. I believe it was mile marker 179, already seeing some reports of tree damage from those very gusty winds. But back home at Doak Campbell Stadium, a rather gloomy view over us. I know sometimes on our typical Monday through Friday shows, we usually show some lovely scenes over Doak Campbell Stadium. That is not the case today, as this big rainmaker makes its way through the Florida Panhandle, and kind of starting to see some of those pockets of rain really just start to dump some of that precip, which we definitely could use. We've been in a very extreme drought recently, and this is giving us it will give us some of the most substantial rain we've seen in quite a bit. So even though these storms are quite strong, the rain is beneficial, but because this is a severe weather event, we're still going to be tracking and following along with all the impacts that could come with this system. So again, as Tallahassee is still in the way of this system, just make sure to hunker down just for the next couple of minutes, taking a look across our area. Panama City, we're in the clear. St. George Island, Tallahassee, still kind of seeing those overcast skies as those heavy bands of rain and strong wind gusts move through. But we're going to continue to track this system as it moves along. But now I'm going to hand it off to Matthew, who's going to give us kind of an update about what's going on in the next couple of moments. Now, again, still have those 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, which are still in effect for the next coming minutes, but now we're going to switch things over to Matt to give us a better look at what's going on.
Yeah, so right now we just have these heavy rain bands moving through with a little bit of some straight line winds to worry about. But for those of you who are out right now, maybe you're coming back from church or you're thinking about getting those groceries, I would hold off a couple hours. A couple hours aren't going to hurt you. And if you're already at the store, just hang out a little bit. Maybe you can find some extra stuff to shop for. But at this point, I would just hang out, relax, stay inside during these heavy rain bands as they move through over the next hour or two. As you can see, it's really starting to make its way through Tallahassee. We're seeing our velocity right now. The red is going away. The green is where it's coming to the radar. And right now, not having a lot of mixing, which is good, because when we have those mixing of the red and greens is where we can start seeing some spin-ups. But right now, you can see that border is right around there on where the red and greens are mixing as they're coming back and going away from the radar. But right now, nothing really to be worried about when it comes to spin-ups. We do have some strong winds, though, to make sure to be aware of. So if you are driving, make sure to find a safe place, maybe pull over, just wait a little bit for these winds and the rain to die down a little bit before you start driving again, as it's just a little bit hectic right now on the road, as there's just a lot of rain. We could really use this rain right now, but also rain in large dosages during a drought can be very bad, as the soil is very dry, which doesn't help it absorb it. So we could see maybe some trees falling down because the soil just can't hold in that moisture, which can lead to down power lines. We could see also some down trees just blocking streets. So at this point, just make sure to stay inside at this point. Or if you're at somewhere, maybe you're traveling back home, just stay at that place just a little bit longer, as it's just not the time right now to be outside. But we are seeing these reds really starting to weaken as it's moving through Tallahassee, which is a good sign, as these reds are where we're seeing our more powerful storms, maybe our stronger winds. So at this point, I would just stay inside, maybe just hang out during the rain, maybe turn on the TV. Hopefully you're watching us, but just stay inside at this point, cozy up, and make sure you have a plan in case we do see maybe some spin-ups. Make sure you know where to go for your tornado place, which is going to be that place inside of your house with as least many windows as possible in the central area. You're going to want to stay in that place at this point until this band of storms moves through, as we're going to see some heavy rainfall, and as we've said earlier, some straight line winds to be worried about. Now we've seen, yes.
Report for you. So on just a little bit to the north of us, a couple miles north, got some reports on the radar scope app. We have a couple of reports of some tree limbs that have been broken.
Yeah, so this is going to be this area right here around 319, just north of I-10 is where we are probably seeing some of those stronger storms. Ryan's also got the image up of those downed trees of what that would look like, and even some breezy winds up by Bainbridge. So what that means is if you are out on the roads, you need to be extra careful right now, as those winds are really just blowing down some branches and trees, and that can cause for obstacles when you're driving. So please be very careful if you're driving. Otherwise, please stay inside at this time, as it's just not a good time to be outside. Now we are seeing this gap right here, which is slowly going to start moving towards us over the next hour or two. So this rain eventually will end. It's not going to be an all-day thing, just a couple of hours, but we are seeing some strong winds. So make sure at this point to stay inside, make sure to just cozy up, try to stay off the road if you can, because we are seeing stronger winds around the north side of this storm right now, up here near the Georgia-Florida borders, where we're seeing a lot of those stronger winds. So make sure to stay inside at this point, as the storm is slowly going to just start pushing through. We do see some stronger rain out but down by Carabel near the coast. So if you are down there as well, make sure you're watching out for those blowing tree limbs and everything, as it's just going to be a very windy time right now, as we're seeing maybe not the strongest gusts we could possibly see, but still some strong winds, and it doesn't take a whole lot to see those trees go down. So Ryan's mapping out how long it's going to take to get everywhere. We could see equipment, we could see this storm arriving by 12:17. Madison could see it arriving by 12:47. So in the next 30 minutes to an hour, we're going to start slowly seeing this storm move through Perry around 1 o'clock. So over the next 30 to 50 minutes, we could see these storms pushing all the way further into the Big Bend eastern regions, and it'll slowly start pushing its way out of Tallahassee. But at this point, the thing you really need to be worried about is that rainfall. There's going to be a lot of rain, and those gusty winds going to make it hard to see if you're driving. So please pull over at this point. Just take a little rest stop, whether you're close to your house or not. Just try to be extra careful on the roads, as we do have those stronger winds as well as that heavy rain that can just make visibility very hard. We're seeing this red line slowly starting to weaken as it's moving through Tallahassee, which is a good sign as this storm starts to weaken, but still seeing a lot of rainfall, so make sure to stay safe if you are out on the roads. And if you are at home, just stay inside for a couple hours, maybe get ahead on that homework, or just make yourself some lunch and stay inside while this storm line pushes through, just because of how strong it can be. And we could also see some stronger winds at times, maybe even a possible spin up, even though it is weakening. It is something to watch as this storm continues to move through, as we're seeing some of these outer bands slowly starting to track across. Valdosta will probably see it in the next 30 to 50 minutes, so make sure to hunker down if you are in those areas, as it will be a rainy and windy next few hours as this line slowly starts moving through. Out by Carabel, this line is also starting to move through some heavy rain in those areas as well as some winds, so make sure to take your precautions, stay inside, just take a nice day inside and just relax if you can. And if you are on I-10 in the Tallahassee area, pull over to those rest stops. Just wait a little bit for this line to push through, as it's just not safe right now to be outside with these stronger winds that could blow over some tree limbs. Don't want to have a wreck, don't want to have any accidents, so just stay inside at this point, or just pull over and wait for the storm to push through, as it's slowly going to start trekking east over the next hour or two. Now, once this storm is over, we still could see some damage. We could get more reports on some blown down branches or trees, so make sure to be safe for the rest of the day, even after the storm leaves, as we could still have some side effects from the big amount of rain we're going to see, as well as the tree limbs and branches that have fallen down over the next few hours. But I'm going to turn it over to Daniela to see what else we have going on across the area right now as this line starts to slowly push through.
Do we have a mic? Am I good? Okay, we're good. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Yeah, so we have an update on the severe thunderstorm warning. It has been trimmed off on the west side, so those west of Tallahassee are mostly out of the woods by now, but we now have a little bit of an extension going into Jefferson County as well as Thomas County and going north into Adel as well. So they can still anticipate some heavy winds and as well as some heavy rain and frequent lightning on the front end of this. We can see here, this is where the front is located approximately. On the back end, we don't have much else left, so thankfully it is going to be a clearing, but we do have some storm reports of tornadoes, wind, down trees, and power outages to the west that they experienced overnight. So this has been a pretty potent system moving through most of the southeast. So lots of severe weather overnight and into this afternoon is expected. But here in Tallahassee, we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one spanning from North Georgia all the way down to the coast. But for the rest of the day today, for the next couple of hours, it's going to be mostly cloudy to the remainder of your day, but temperatures will cool slightly into the overnight hours. So this is what you can anticipate this afternoon. It's not going to be a washout all day. It's just going to be a gloomy start to your Sunday morning, but hopefully around the 2-3 o'clock time frame, at least in the Tallahassee area, you can anticipate the opportunity to run those errands you maybe been putting off from this weather, maybe go grocery shopping as well. We can see here the timing around 2 p.m. is when the eastern side of the Big Bend in South Georgia can begin to see this line of storms heading your way. So Taylor and Madison County, Valdosta and Dixie County, Cross City, those areas east of or towards the I-75 corridor can anticipate that rain. We may have some showers on the back end of the storm going into your South Georgia counties towards late this evening and into the overnight hours. But other than that, expect some passing clouds into your area and a little bit of those cooler and drier air and temperatures entering in to start off your work week. So thankfully, this may help us in some of the droughts. Most of us are under an extreme drought once again, or even a severe drought for almost our entire viewing area. So hopefully today some of this rain will be beneficial for us, but we do need to watch out for the potential of maybe some flooding on some roads that are more prone to flash flooding. So again, let's take a look here at the storm. Do we have a timing on this as to when we can expect anything to arrive? Oh, we have rain totals here. So far, we've got about 0.13 inches. Quincy getting quite the soaking of over half an inch of rain for them. Thomasville, hopefully those totals will begin to go up for you guys quite shortly. Mariana, just over half an inch, and down at the coast, see some more of that moisture present. So Apalachicola definitely got a good rain today and expecting to still continue to see some showers for the next hour or so. So good for them. Hopefully we got some beneficial rain for some parts of our viewing area. We can anticipate that to push eastward as the day progresses. And here on temperatures, we're mostly consistent in those 60s. Perry a little bit on the warmer side, however, at 72. But other than that, we're sitting mostly in the mid to upper 60s across the Big Bend and South Georgia. That rain is still staying pretty heavy as it's moving through the area. We see a little bit of less red if we can take a zoom in here on this line towards Tallahassee. Heavy rain is still expected across 319, even down to the southwest side of town. Definitely some very heavy rain pocketed there as well. Across West Tennessee Street on Highway 90 out Mahan towards the mall as well. If you're out shopping today, expect some heavy rain into your area and even some gusty winds as this storm is just pushing through the strongest part going through the middle of downtown Tallahassee at the moment. If we can push farther south into Wakulla and Woodville areas, again, still have a severe thunderstorm. Sop choppy, seeing some heavy rain right now in St. Mark's. You can anticipate this to come your way quite shortly, and now those showers are just starting for you guys down near the coast, and those farther to the east will begin to see that heavier portion of that line in just about 20 minutes to half an hour, maybe even less. So we're going to take a zoom out again if we can, Ryan, real quick.
And they're saying in the weather service as well that instabilities come down a lot. It's not just kind of become a rainmaker of an event.
Okay.
But they're saying there's still likely going to be a severe thunderstorm warning as it continues to push east.
Okay, so that's good news. So what we're hearing from Ryan, from what we've seen here on the National Weather Service, we're seeing that the line has begun to weaken. We don't really have as much of strong ingredients in the atmosphere to continue the storms, or to make the storms strengthen even more into the oncoming hours, which means this line is starting to weaken. We can anticipate just some thunderstorms, maybe some gusty winds and heavy rain. So for those farther to the east that can anticipate rain coming in later, we still can expect the severe thunderstorm warning boxes to be extended. However, the chance of maybe tornadoes and some hail has decreased some. So that is good news. We have less chances for rotation entering our area. However, do we have storm reports that we can pull up any, if at all? Because I know we had mile marker 179 on I-10 heading eastbound. So if you're heading eastbound on I-10 towards Quincy, we do have a downed tree in that far right lane. So only the left lane so far is open according to the cameras that are open on that mile marker. So, towards Mount Pleasant, we have a tree down as well. We have some wind reports as well. We have, yes, here we go, mile marker 179 in Greensboro towards Quincy, traffic back up on I-10. So make sure to be careful if you're heading towards that direction. Apalachicola Airport has some 45-mile-per-hour wind reports there, so it definitely did get pretty gusty down at the coast. So there's a little bit of those storm reports. We have probably some trees down as well, so make sure to report that safely if possible after the storm passes. This will help us get an idea of what we can expect from the storm after the fact. But yes, so we have most of the strong heavy rain heading through the middle of Tallahassee right now, ending its way to the east. So thankfully, again, a lot of this has started to weaken some, which means we have less chances for the ingredients of a tornado to form. So we can still anticipate some strong thunderstorms going into the next few hours, especially as the storm continues to push east. However, thankfully, we have less chances of a tornado threat. But now we're going to pass this out over to Chris just to give us a little bit more of an update.
Yeah, so I do want to update you guys on this. So for baseball fans, unfortunately, today's game against JMU has been canceled due to inclement weather, as we've been seeing over the past couple of hours. Tallahassee is in really just the thick of it with this heavy band of showers and storms that has been making its way through downtown. Now, like Danielle was mentioning earlier, seems like this line has been weakening, which is some pretty good news for us. And that tornado threat has gone down a bit, which is nice to see. Although we do still have that tornado watch that's going to be in effect till 4 o'clock tonight. Taking a look at Doak Campbell Stadium, this looks much different than even just 10 minutes ago. Now you can really see all of that heavy rain just taking up all of our sky cam over Doak. Seeing a lot of that heavy rain, those faster rainfall rates kind of just take over FSU's campus. So again, if you're, for some reason, if you're still walking around on campus, I just recommend go inside. We could still maybe see some lightning with this. Probably not as much as earlier, but we still did see some pretty frequent lightning with this storm. So I actually just heard some thunder outside. So again, we're still seeing some lightning, and lightning is very dangerous. A good rule of thumb when thunder roars, make sure to go indoors as this system continues to move its way towards the east. Like I did mention though, this is weakening, but that doesn't mean this isn't all clear yet. Just hunker down for another good 30 minutes, maybe to the next hour until this fully passes over us and that warning is allowed to expire. Both of those severe thunderstorm warnings that we still have in effect, they do still have a tornado possible marker on them, but again, not really seeing a whole lot of rotation right now, which is some good news for us. Now, let's see if maybe we can get Ryan to pull up radar again. I want to see if we can time out these storms as they continue to move our way. Here we go. Here's a look at that radar again. We still have those two yellow polygons that are still encompassing a big chunk of Leon County. If you're a little bit more to the east of Tallahassee, if you're over near Midway, you're kind of in the clear right now, so that's some good news over there. Still seeing some pretty gusty winds. I mean, we've had all those storm reports of some tree limbs broken just to the north of Tallahassee and along I-10. Looking at Daytona Beach, though, in the clear for now, but things will be changing this afternoon as this front continues to move throughout the state of Florida. Now, we're not expecting these storms to be nearly as strong as they reach the rest of the state right now. But Daytona, you're in the clear for now, but this system will be heading your way in the coming hours, albeit not as strong, but still going to be getting some much needed rain from this system as it moves in. Oh,
I went with Daytona because today's the Daytona 500. And
yes.
they pushed up the start time of the race, I think to like 1:30 or something.
Gotcha. So we have a new report.
Well,
Yep.
so, I mean, this was yesterday, they pushed it ahead, but it seems like the 500 will be able to finish out, even though these storms are kind of moving a little bit quicker than we thought they'd be.
Okay, so that's some good news for us. So yes, this is as of yesterday. The officials decided to bump up the start time of the Daytona 500. So good news if you're over there, and just something to keep an eye out for the next couple of hours. But it seems like again they have decided to start it a little bit later on as the system continues to move towards the east. But let's give you a better idea of the timing of when we can expect these storms. So here is Daytona Beach. Notice the timing. Check this out. 7 o'clock tonight. That's when we're expecting these heavy showers and storms to make its way to Daytona. Most of the state of Florida, or a pretty good chunk of it, is under a 1 out of 5 marginal risk for severe weather. A decent chunk of us, including us here in Tallahassee, we were under that slight risk for severe weather today. But as far as timing goes, we're going to be seeing this front move through parts of the Nature Coast, really is stretching much of the state of Florida. Here's that SPC outlook. I believe this includes part of Daytona. If I'm not mistaken, they're kind of they're sort of in between, but either way, there still is some sort of risk for severe weather today if you're going to be at the Daytona 500. And this also includes parts of South Georgia. Here's a better look at that. So here are some of our Florida cities: Orlando, Tampa, my hometown. If you're down in kind of like Central Florida, here along the Gulf Coast too, just a little bit to the south of Tampa, you are under that marginal risk. Now, for our friends down in Fort Myers, they were only that non-severe risk. So that's good for them. Here again, a live look at the radar. This is what happened previously. You see the line held pretty well together here, but we're starting to see some weakening. So that's some nice news for us. Now, that yellow box, it's kind of faint, but you can see it. That's where that tornado watch is. But up here, you can kind of see this huge area of low pressure. This is basically what our rainmaker is, and you can see this wide band of showers and storms. This is our cold front that has been pushing east, and that's been giving us these really strong wind gusts. I mean, we've had reports in excess of 40 miles an hour as this pushed through downtown Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. And this system's gonna, like we've been mentioning, it will be continuing to move off towards the east in the coming hours. Now, Atlanta not seeing, or areas to the west of Atlanta, not seeing as heavy of showers and storms. Still getting some pretty decent amounts of rain, but not as heavy as we've seen here, especially towards South Georgia, Tallahassee, and down towards the coast. Taking a look once again at our radar, Carabel getting in on some of that rain, kind of slowly starting to get on the backside of it. So that should be moving out in the next couple minutes. Now, I'm going to see if we can get someone to pull up a tracker to kind of see which areas are going to be impacted in the next coming minutes. Let's see if we get that map drawn up real soon. But this is going to keep moving to the east. We're going to keep watching if they do decide to extend any of these severe thunderstorm warnings. Here's our live cam at Wakulla High School. Again, seeing those gloomy skies like we've seen over most of there. Here we go. Here's our tracker. So let's see. I think Ryan is drawing this for us. So let's see. Here we go. So Adel, 12:33 is when you can expect this. So the next 5 to 10 minutes, this will be headed your way. You'll start to see the strongest portion of this line as it heads your way. I know you're outside the polygon, but still should still be seeing some pretty strong winds with this system. And let's see if we can get that back up possibly. Valdosta, I would say next 20 minutes, get ready for the system to head your way. Perry, I would say you still have about an hour, maybe, I would say, let's say roughly an hour before this heads your way. Perry, kind of starting to see, this is like the very leading front of the storm, but all the heavy rain is a bit further behind. Here we go, there's that timing. Perry, 109, so about 30 minutes. So you still have some time to prepare for this. We're going to keep you guys updated to see if they do decide to extend both of these yellow polygons. They should be expiring around 12:45, so we still got another 15 minutes here to deal with this system. So if you're in any of these two yellow polygons here, just stay hunkered down for those next couple minutes. Like if you're trying to go grocery shopping, trust me, you can wait it out. They'll still be there after. So if you have to make those errands today, just maybe wait another hour or so. If you're in these two polygons, then you can get those errands done. If you're already at the grocery store, you can probably stay inside for the next 30 minutes or 15 to 30 minutes as these two will hopefully expire, as it definitely seems to have fallen apart, especially over Tallahassee. Definitely not seeing as much of those heavier reds. Now this is our graph model. We're gonna time this out together. 2 o'clock, Perry, Madison, Valdosta. This is when you will be seeing those heaviest bands of rain. Tallahassee could still be dealing with a couple of spotty showers, but we'll kind of start to get in the clear by the later afternoon. For our friends in our South Georgia counties, just Bainbridge, northward, kind of towards Albany, could still get a second round of showers and storms, and we'll still kind of deal with some cloud cover over the next couple of hours. But the worst of it is kind of what we're seeing right now, or it's weakening, but it's moving off towards the east. So let's time out the next 12 hours for you. 1 o'clock, 67 degrees. It felt pretty muggy this morning, so we did have some of these ingredients that we needed for the storms to develop and just continue moving our way. But fortunately for us, they have been weakening, which is what we definitely want to see. By 5 o'clock, maybe some hints of sunshine, kind of like what we saw on that future radar, and then we're just going to continue to get colder and colder. 1 a.m. though, still 57, so not a whole lot of a cool down. That's because we're going to have some of that cloud cover, so there's not really as much of a chance for basically the ground to get cooler. So basically what that does is the clouds will kind of trap the heat towards the surface, so we're not going to be able to cool down, let's say, into those 40s. But after this passes, though, hopefully at a nice Valentine's Day weekend. Thankfully, we didn't have to deal with this rain yesterday, but looking towards Monday, just pretty low rain chances across the board. 71 for us tomorrow morning. But notice, after this cold front passes, we're going to feel a bit drier here in Tallahassee. And once that front passes, we won't have as much cloud cover, and that will allow us to get some colder low temperatures. Notice going into Tuesday morning, we'll be back into the upper 40s. Tuesday, again, the 70s. We're going to keep warming and warming till Friday, Saturday, into the weekend. We're already back into the 80s, and notice those low temps too are going to be back into the 60s. So definitely, you won't be needing as much of a heavier jacket in those mornings, especially if you have a morning class. That's pretty nice. You don't have to bundle up as much, but as this warming trend continues onward as this front passes through. And our next rain chance we're going to watch out for is going to be next Sunday. Chances of coverage probably about 40% right now, so nothing as significant as what we're seeing right here. This is the front as it moved through, and right now it's kind of gone through a good chunk of Tallahassee. It is showing some signs of weakening. You can see right here, earlier in Panama City, it held pretty well together, but in Tallahassee, kind of starts to fall apart a little bit. So not seeing as strong wind gusts, still getting that useful rain for the drought. Again, we could really use it. We are in an extreme drought, and we've been quite below where we should be. Even parts of South Florida, I will mention this, they are about a foot below where they should be. Now, Tallahassee, this is what we're expecting right now, a bit, or really just all around the Big Bend, some heavier rain down towards Apalachicola, about 1 inch of rain, so that is pretty nice for them. It is pretty beneficial. Tallahassee, though, has not gone a lot, and the reality is this one event will not be enough to bust the drought, but either way, any rain is good for us, and it definitely will help us alleviate or relieve of this drought that we've just been kind of stuck under for quite some time now. So most of this heavier rain has been a little bit more towards the west, or that's kind of been the greatest accumulation we've been seeing over here. Now here's what we're going to be expecting through the next couple days. So Tallahassee, 0.78 inches. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen that. So it is nice to see some better rainfall accumulations through Tuesday, just shy of 1 inch in Perry. So here we go. Now this severe thunderstorm warning that was for Carabel, that has now been allowed to expire. As you can see on our radar, that has really started to lighten up a bit. Still getting that rain, but definitely not as strong as it was before. The front is really starting to weaken as it kind of just moved over Tallahassee. It's becoming a little bit more widespread, but not as tight, I guess you could say, as it moved over us. So we'll continue to stay alive as this continues to expire. I think at this point, this warning in Tallahassee will be allowed to expire, so these storms will continue to move towards the east. The threat for severe weather, fortunately, here has gone down quite substantially. We had 3 warnings when we just went live. Now we're down to 1. Taking a look, one last look at that 7-day. That warming trend is going to continue throughout the week, and by Friday into your Saturday, we'll be back into the 80s, really starting to finally feel like spring here in Tallahassee. And yeah, and then we're going to have that chance for rain on Sunday, so just keep an eye out for that. But after this system passes, we're going to be in the clear for a good couple of days, and then we'll just be keeping an eye out for those rain chances. But that is all we have for now. Thank you so much for tuning into FSU Weather for today's severe weather coverage. If you aren't already, make sure to follow us on Instagram. Make sure to hit that subscribe button where you're watching us, hopefully right now on YouTube. Be sure to check out our TikTok page and all of our other socials. There we go. Facebook, make sure to leave a like on our page at FSU Weather. Be sure to check out our Instagram at FSU Weather. Make sure, if you're watching the stream right now, make sure to leave a like, hit that notification bell so you don't miss one of our shows. And last but not least, follow us on TikTok. Here's one last look at your 7-day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay dry, folks.